Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Monday, June 12th, 2023. Welcome to Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, metals, yields, news, whatever it is we need to look at as we get our day started. And in particular on Mondays, where we take a look at how our week is starting, which, if you are not familiar, we are coming off of an insane week last week. I'm sure everybody watching this right now is familiar with that. In addition to having a liquidation event happen over the weekend in the middle of the night, I woke up at, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And, I think kind of like everybody, the thing you naturally do is you grab your phone. And like I looked at it and had text messages just across the screen on my phone. And I saw capitulation. I'm like, what? Open it up and look at the prices. I'm like, whoa, buddy. And it just happened like 2 hours prior or something like that. And there was no going back to sleep for me. So I came in here. I normally get up at 4, so 2:30 sounds crazy. And it is pretty crazy. But it's not too far off of the time I actually just wake up in general. So I came in here on a Saturday morning, probably at my computer at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and started diving in deep and recorded a video and put it out to talk about the liquidation that had happened there Friday nights, early Saturday morning, right there in the middle of the night. So we'll talk about that stuff. I've already recorded a video today. It's over 20 minutes long. So once this stream is over, I'll release that. So I'm going to try to make the stream pretty brief because most of the information is all packed into there and what's going on in the market. I'm pretty excited. We're just where we're at in the market, the narratives going on in the market, all those different things. And I know this is a scary time whenever we have big moves like this and whenever we have narratives like this with crypto, with the SEC coming out and going after Binance and going after Coinbase. And you see these altcoins selling off like this. We see the Bitcoin dominance starting to break out on the SEC news. Imagine that. The SEC times an event to occur that causes a structural change in markets. We've never seen that before. If you're not familiar, the SEC did attack XRP and Ripple 5 days after Bitcoin broke from a trading range of its 2018 peak, being 3 years in a bear market for Bitcoin. And the break out of the all-time high came with the attack on XRP. What do you know about that? After getting a bearish divergence emerging on the Bitcoin dominance here up at the top of the range, long bearish divergence, boom, SEC comes in, scares the crud out of altcoin holders. And where do you flock to? La Bitcoin. So we'll take a peek at this. We'll see if we can derive any information from that. We'll dive into our typical stuff here in the markets. As we typically start out every live stream, as we have for several months, we usually have this put here on the screen. I talk about this in the video today. We've talked about volume profiles of trading out this range in here for Bitcoin. Cruel summer, and that we just needed to fill a volume profile gap. We all knew that gap came way down here. Look at this. We're just doing a bunch of trading down here with Bitcoin exchanging hands in here. So good deal, looking normal. Nothing has structurally broken over here on Bitcoin. As for XRP, the big old 786 Fibonacci retracement has been the big whack down zone, as we've been discussing for some time. Still, no indications of it breaking out just yet. As we know, tomorrow we are supposed to be getting the Hinman emails, right? They're supposed to be made public. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has said there's shameful behavior in these emails, and that we will all be shocked by the behavior of the SEC. Stuart Alderoty, the lead counsel of Ripple, has said back in October of last year, October of 2022, he said it was well worth the fight. 18 months of battles. I think they said like six delays by the SEC for them to finally be able to get them back in October, and it was well worth the fight to get them. So we're supposed to see them tomorrow. Of course, we all know the SEC is a master of delay, a master of unethical behavior. So, for me personally, I just kind of keep that in the back of my head saying, hey, look, there's could always be some type of surprise. I don't have all my eggs in the basket that we will see them. But if we do end up seeing them tomorrow, I will be pleasantly surprised. However, the other thing to remember as well is that those are really just for us to kind of sit there and scream about the SEC and say, look how bad they are. The big thing we're all really waiting on is that summary judgment from Judge Torres on the case. So that's really the thing that we should all care about. The emails make for good gossip and good yelling on Twitter and make good YouTube videos, but they don't change anything for us in the bigger picture of things. The things that we really need is that summary judgment. We need some clarity in the market, hopefully some type of at least movement in moving the needle a little bit towards clarity for XRP. That can hopefully get us back on exchanges and back where we rightfully belong. So as for XRP, the retracement level has been the whack down zone so far still. Not seeing any signs of big breakouts, but we know catalysts could potentially be coming this week. You've got a lot going on this week when it comes to, oh boy, why are you not working? Let's see if you want to work now. We have the Federal Reserve interest rate hike meeting this weekend. Why is your data breaking right? There we go. Right when I'm going live. Wow, you are broken. Anyway, if this doesn't load for us, it's at about a 75% probability that, there we go, 73.6% probability that the Fed is going to pause. That's going to be on June 14th. Before we get that decision to happen, which is in 2 days from right now, we're going to be getting economic data. We're going to be getting the CPI data coming out, the consumer price index information coming out. Currently, the year-over-year figure is that we're at 4.9%, estimating that we will drop down to 4.1. So we'll see all about that. I talked about that in my video today. But those are a couple of kind of economic catalysts that are coming up this week in regards to CPI and in regards to the Fed. In regards to XRP and all that stuff, it's about, the emails being released. And if the emails are then released, are we then finally at the point where we can have summary judgment? And hopefully that's what we do have. And hopefully that's a positive catalyst for us. But I've gone through wave counts on this, on Elliott waves, talked all about this. This is the big resistance level. This is the danger level. You get out of here. We're already hooting and hollering. I've already got my tweet plan for what I would do in that circumstance. But I don't see any evidence of it happening right now. So the concern does have to be of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC to settle down there in the lower 30s as long as we're not getting through here. Which one's going to happen? Are we going to get through the retracement levels? Are we going to pull back down while we're up here? Just way too difficult for me to be able to make that probability guess. The only thing I could do is say the things I always say. We get back here. This is the danger level. This is the worry level. This is where all the eggs are in the basket. Which way is it going to go? And we did that. This is the danger, and we did end up having it. Right? It rejected from there. That's what we talked about all the last week. So that's still where we're at for XRP. Still waiting on that. Another thing too, as I pointed in a video, is that for the class of 2018 through 2020, we've been through moments like this before where the sky felt like it was falling this late into the game. We're very close to a point of what it was like when we went through C19. To imagine what it would be like to go through all of this for this long, and then you have something that just scares the crud out of the market at one point. That's right here, right now, is about where we had it. You could see these kind of lining up in there still over the course of the next maybe week or two is really how much time more elapsed in there when we had our C19 sell-off happening here in the cryptocurrency market. I found that interesting. I've been staring at that for a couple of weeks, wondering about that, only to see Senor Gary Gensler and company to come in and get the Bitcoin dominance range to break. So, in regards to this, a difficult one, you can use your logic on it and you could say, well, what's going to happen right now, right? People are probably going to be scared to buy a lot of these altcoins. I even go through my own thought process right now because I'm going to be in massive altcoin accumulation mode right now. And probably for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be treating this as if it's my last opportunity to get a lot of these. And that's because I tap into a lot of different things in my brain. You guys have heard me say this before. So you're going to be 25% smart, 25% stupid, 25% grounded in reality, and 25% conspiracy theorist. And in these moments like this, with these timed attacks and they happen, while it feels stupid to be accumulating altcoins, the logic in it seems right to me. It's where they don't want me to go. But where would the general public go? They'd go to Bitcoin. And I can even see that because there's stuff on my list I want to accumulate. And it's in the SEC's list. It's in the list of the coins I shouldn't be buying. And they're telling me not to get it. So hard to know. But I am going to be buying. And I think that the general public probably will think that the safest place for them to go is Bitcoin. So we may see a rise in this dominance. You just can't deny it. The range got broke when the SEC did that. Is this a false range breakup that was just catalyst? This was liquidations, right? This was not some trend breakout. This was a liquidation moment of the market where altcoins got liquidated in 15 minutes. And then that's what sent that dominance up. So I'm not sitting here thinking to myself, I better go YOLO my entire bag into Bitcoin in any way. If anything, if you wanted to wave count it, you'd be like, one, two, three, four, five, right? And then your Elliott wave 3 is your biggest wave and your most aggressive wave. And then you have a contracting triangle, which I often describe as the crash, retrace, reaccumulation happening in your wave 4 to then go on to wave 5. So even that, if I count it that way, it's still telling me I shouldn't be YOLOing into Bitcoin. To each their own. I'll talk about that in today's video in regards to altcoins and all that good stuff. But as for XRP, this was kind of a sketchy one. The one with the price that it's at currently right now. One of the things to talk about in the video that I put out over the weekend was with Cosmos and some of these other coins that have been called securities in the lawsuit against Binance and the lawsuit against Coinbase. Is just a Wyckoff accumulation structure in here. In my video, we're actually even going to look at the total altcoin market cap and show all of this as well. I thought it was fascinating. But just like we've talked about, you can either have let's go in here, anatomy of a trading range, right? You have our schematic 1, we have schematic 2. Let's see if they have schematic 2 in here. I don't know if they do. Oh, we're looking at it from the other. You have to pretend this is upside down. Why would they do that? I don't have the other one open. But where we don't go break that low, right? We've talked about this in videos where you have the last point of support, where it's almost like just the creek just keeps on going and going and going, and then finally it turns its way to the upside. Or we have the actual break, right? And the spring actually end up happening in here, which is what we've talked about on this channel before. Look at that creek, look at that break. Doesn't necessarily mean that was the low or that we're V-bottoming out of here. I am thinking in my head, man, there would make a whole lot more sense for one more dip to come, if not another dip to come, for at least another pull back down to the lows to end up coming in here, and then to just kind of work this out for a minute, adding a lot more pain to the market. But we see this all over the place. This is Wyckoff Spring. There's your creek. There's your crack. Next up, the get through the cruel summer. And then hopefully, like we've talked about, that the market wasn't ready for the chaos yet. Cruel summer ahead, but then bring it on 2023's excitement. Still, I still have faith and optimism in that, and the charts lead me to believe that to be the case as well. And in today's video, I'll show that over there on the altcoin market cap as well. All right, so here we are. It's 8:40. Stock market opened. I'm way behind. We should have already talked about the stock market. You see the Dow Jones is up 116 points. Somebody pointed out to me last Friday, if you remember, we were looking at futures. Futures were up like 350 points, where the actual stock market was only up like 100, or the Dow Jones. I guess there was a change in the futures contract that particular day. So things should be more in line again now. So that was actually just a change in the contract that happened on that day. So that's why we were seeing things very weird the way they were. But Dow Jones up 124 points as we start the day after bouncing off the lows back there in October. Still the retracement battle going on for the Dow Jones. The big one coming up. Here we are. NASDAQ. Now almost your turn to get back to that 702 Fibonacci retracement in there. So very, very close. We'll be watching that this week. I'm sure there'll be another fingernail biter going on in there. You can see NASDAQ futures have almost gotten there at this point. Anything else in regards to that? I didn't have gold up today. Let's take a look at gold. Gold, we still holding there. There's nothing, it's unchanged. That's still the big debate out there in the world, right? Who is going to be the bull? Is the bull going to be gold, or is the bull going to be the stock market? And for the sake of crypto, everybody should be cheering for the stock market and against gold. If your perception of the world and your narrative of the world is gold up and crypto up, your perception is incorrect. Your perception should be gold down, equities up, then crypto up as well. That's not a fundamental dispute. That's not a fundamental argument. That is an unequivocal statistical fact. So there we go. As for what we're looking for, remember tomorrow, Hinman emails. Tomorrow, CPI. Expect volatility this week, likely to be pretty crazy, and hopefully crazy to the good side. But if not, I'm treating it as the accumulation opportunity I'm treating it as the accumulation opportunity that we're not going to see again. And it doesn't mean we can't stay down here for a couple of months, but this is it. This is the final moment. So right now, currently on Wednesday, June 14th is when we're going to have the Fed interest rate decision. We've watched, let's talk about this really quick, because this thing has told us the whole time the Fed is pausing, right? That's what it has told us the whole time. But there's one curveball to it. And the curveball is that tomorrow is CPI day. Tomorrow is Consumer Price Index day. That's where we find out the inflation rate. The current year over year is 4.9. If you take the average of the last 10 months, though, we're like in the lower threes. So we're going to be dropping some big numbers off of the year over year number. So if we stay in line, let's take a look at these. If we stay in line for CPI and we end up registering a 0.2%, which is what the forecast is, that's right in line with what we've actually been seeing in here. 0.4%, 0.1%, 0.4, 0.5, 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.4, 0.2. Getting a 0.2% is right in line with all the numbers that we've been seeing. But what that will do is that will impact the year over year in a bigger way than we saw last month. We've been talking about this for 2 months. Can you believe it? We're finally here now at the point where we're going to be getting that day where we're going to finally see, is that big fall off going to happen? Because the data that is falling off is this big fat 1.0 from back here. From back when we had our May reading that was reported there on June 10th of 2022. That's the one that is falling out of the year over year number. So that's a big one. And if we replace it with a 0.2, the expectation is to see the year over year drop to 4.1. Then, hey, what do we have the next month? We're going to be dropping a 1.3 out of here. So if we end up getting a number within that range again, that 1.3, we go ahead and drop another 1% from 4.1. What does that put us at, right? We go to 4.1, then we drop another 1%. What do we go to? 3.1. Boom. What's the narrative? Inflation has been cured, right? Inflation is now dead. Or the runaway inflation has been tamed. Doesn't mean that inflation is gone. It means the runaway inflation that we were dealing with has tamed. We're still left with all the inflation that we got. However, it's just not growing at the same rate that it once was growing at. So tomorrow, when we get this CPI data, so long as it's in line and not some big massive surprise of like a 0.8 or a 0.9, I wouldn't expect this figure to change here for what the market is pricing in to be a Federal Reserve pause of the interest rate hiking cycle. But we know we've watched these numbers. They've been in line with this. This is what the market has really been pricing in for the last month. But that data we get tomorrow is going to give us the real representation of what it thinks is going to end up happening. So while this has been great, tomorrow is going to tell us these numbers are going to probably either go up big time or go down. And I know that's an easy thing to say, up or down. Congratulations, BCB or genius. The reality is we've hovered here for a few weeks. We've just stayed right here. But tomorrow when that data comes out, this market's going to price it in probably with a higher chance than 3-1, but more like either we're going to get really confident about it or we're going to get a whole lot less confident about it rather than remaining here where we've been for a couple of weeks. So that's the thing to kind of keep an eye on for tomorrow. Otherwise, XRP community is obviously sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to get those Hinman emails tomorrow. That's the big story coming out. And then as for Bitcoin, still just sitting there on these levels after the liquidations on Friday night, Saturday morning. I don't know how to say that because I woke up in the middle of the night, but it was technically the morning and recorded a video for that. So that's what we're kind of waiting on. If we've got 1,900 people in here now, a little bit higher, 1,900 people, 400 likes. This is a little low, my friends. But there we go. This is for those who are new to crypto. Came in if you're part of the class of 2021, which we are always going to label you as the freshman laser eyes crew, who bought when Jim Cramer did. This was our 2018 C19 sell-off, right? This is the stuff we've dealt with. This is where we're at. We've got ourselves a nice bloody narrative to be terrified of the market. And this is just how it goes. And so today I'll be putting out a video, really talking all about this and then showing the altcoin market as well. And if you missed the video on Saturday and, we talk about Wyckoff accumulation, talking about spring, there you go. There's your creek. And there is your spring phase. So now we're just kind of waiting on this thing to start settling out down here near the bottom. And my personal thoughts are this is our final moment, right? Imagine the bottom of this range and the narratives this range has had to swallow and accumulate. Imagine that. Luna, UST, Three Arrows Capital, Celsius, FTX, the SEC, still holding. Right? This is a range that has taken a beating. And I guarantee it, there's somebody on the other end accumulating that, or else it wouldn't be able to hold it. And I think you can kind of see the ones where there's not those accumulations happening in things like Algorand, right? Algorand has just gone to absolute bloodbath city. But you can find these throughout here, the ones that are really trying to hold their own through this stuff, just having this underlying strength. So, all right. Overall, my general thoughts on all of this going on, I'm excited. Whenever you get, I hope you realize that, guys, when we get back to these points, this is where my nervousness resides. My nervousness still exists there for XRP. That actually hasn't changed. My excitement is actually for the whole broader market at this point, as it took us getting down to the bottom end of this range for the SEC to come out, issue their attack. They force a break on the Bitcoin dominance, right? So what's going to happen? Everybody's going to flood to Bitcoin because they're scared of the altcoins. But this is the moment in time when we go back and we review the 2021 cycle. These were the last times we got to see these types of prices. And for me, I'm treating it that way, and I'm accumulating. I'm going to be accumulating. I'm debating on doing something for the channel in regards to accumulating because I'm feeling that crazy of buying, like where I'm buying something every day. I just don't know how I would do that on the channel and not be called a shill. Whether I let you guys choose the coins or something, but I'll still take a ridiculous amount of criticism for doing it. But I'm at the point now where I, for me personally, willing to buy every day for months on end, being offered these prices. So XRP, again, like I say, I'm uncomfortable with where we're at right now. If we get a breakout, yes, but with where we're at right now and how we're acting, not necessarily with XRP up here above 50. If we got above the retracement levels, sure, super excited, all that good stuff. The things that make me excited on the accumulations are where I see accumulation schematics appearing, and that this is the spring phase. These are the ones that get me riled up. So, all right. That's what we're starting at, guys. So support still holding for Bitcoin. Liquidation event over there in the crypto market. So big economic data tomorrow in regards to CPI. Federal Reserve over there on Wednesday. Emails are supposed to be released tomorrow. Of course, we know the SEC. We know that they're like the most unethical agency in the United States government, and that they will probably do whatever they can to try to put one more curveball in there to not have to release those. They've done that 9 times or so over the last 2.5 years. So I won't be surprised if something like that comes out. But if they do release them, holy cow, it's going to be a wild time on YouTube and Twitter. So we'll see if they come out with another distraction. You remember last Monday, we did markets in the morning. We got off markets in the morning, and then eventually S hit the fan with the SEC later on in the day. So then they did it again on Tuesday. So they know if those emails are coming out tomorrow, which the court has ordered, they may, who knows, man, they may be up to something again today. We don't know. So keep that in mind. But as for the stock market opens up today. Dow Jones up 104 points, which is 0.31%. NASDAQ up 65 points, which is 0.46%. And the S&P is up 11 points, which is 0.27%. The leaders of the stock market today, ARK, Facebook, and Tesla. Losers, Coinbase, Netflix, and United Health. And otherwise, we didn't dive into news. Is there any news really talking about? Stock futures gain as hope builds. The Fed will pause rate hike. Oh boy. Well, at least they didn't hit us with this for weeks, right? We got to get hit with the debt ceiling narrative for the longest time. All right. JB Morgan reaches agreement to set. Okay. Fed backs away from wages focus, bolstering case for rate pause. Yeah, we know that's priced in. SEC, CPI, and strong rebound. 5 things to know about Bitcoin this week. Tether CTO clarifies 1 billion USDT mint on Ethereum is for chain swaps. Bitcoin to fight against European challenges. Bitcoin Prague. Okay, Reddit. Oh yeah, Reddit's up to some crazy stuff. You guys see that stuff going on there? All the communities are going dark. They're retaliating against Reddit. I don't know everything going on with that because I'm not like a super active person on Reddit. But like all the different communities have locked it. So you can't get into their communities anymore, in a retaliation against the CEO and the new pricing that they've got going on. That's interesting. All right. CoinDesk, you got Solana, ADA, and Matic prices stabilized after their weekend sell-off because, right, Robinhood announced that they will be delisting these 3 assets. All 3 of them with Wyckoff Accumulation Springs. All 3 of them have that, which is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, all right, there we go, guys. That's how we're starting off Monday morning, coming off of a liquidation on Friday night, Saturday morning. Let's hop into the chat, and then we'll get this thing wrapped up so I can get my video completed and released. How long is this thing right? It's at 24 minutes right now, and I haven't recorded the outro yet. All right. Amarin Jeffrey, the first one out the gate, says, I just wanted to say, we won't see those emails. That's what Amarin says, right? We'll see, right? I don't know. I actually don't have an opinion on either one of them. Dill Barwari says, what are your Bitcoin Cash price predictions, and do you still own Bitcoin Cash? I own very little Bitcoin Cash. I addressed this in June of last year. Bitcoin Cash is one of those ones, like, you could hear the case for Bitcoin Cash was that it was never going to be a security, right? It's not going to be impacted by any of this stuff with the SEC in regards to being a security. It's listed on Robinhood, PayPal, every single exchange has Bitcoin Cash. But is there any interest in Bitcoin Cash, right? So if I've recorded a video on this for the course throughout last week and into the weekend, that if you look at all the cryptocurrencies, compared to 2015 to 2017, and then compare 2019 to 2021, 9 out of the 10, if you would have just bought the top 10, would have gone to Supermoon from 2015 to 2017. If you bought the top 10 in 2019, riding into 2021, not the case. Just 2 out of 10 would have provided any reasonable returns. And just so you guys know, Bitcoin did not even provide average returns from the C19 time period compared to everything else. Most things outperformed Bitcoin. The average, is like almost 2x what Bitcoin's returns were. But only 2 out of 10 went on big runs in the top 10. So you have to say, is there a dynamic shift in the market? Yes, it's safe from the SEC. Yes, it's listed everywhere. But is there going to be any flock to that particular asset at this point? Is the market dynamic completely changed from 2017, where you buy everything in the top 10 and you go? No. And I don't know if people know that about Bitcoin Cash, that it was one of the most transacted blockchains in the bear. One of the most popular. And same with EOS. EOS was right behind Ethereum, but abandoned. So with Bitcoin Cash, for me, it'd be just about retracements at this point. Unless something happens, like you have a narrative, right? What if the SEC legitimately gets away with all this, claiming everything is a security stuff, And the only ones that can be available in the United States are like a very specific list. My bet is Bitcoin Cash would be on that list of okay, but you have to kind of go with that thesis at this point with the new dynamic shift we've seen happen in the market. So I own very, very little, but not putting my marbles on it too much. And then follows that up with this Chris Perez says, EOS has me depressed. Do you see anything there? Well, are you like fully, is like your whole investment in EOS? Yeah, well, most of the market looks like EOS. Nothing in particular with EOS. We've talked about this also since June of last year. It's practically been abandoned. So yeah, we've covered that a dozen times a month. Oscar Hernandez, my dude, critical hit. What's up, man? Good morning, dude. Thank you. And he follows it up right there afterwards with, I don't know if that is Superman and fireworks, dude. Thank you, brother. Big Shroom says, looks like Gary is scaring people from altcoins. Others D dropped like a rock with Bitcoin D, XRP D, and stablecoin dominance all rising. Yeah, you know what? This guy on Twitter, he DM'd me. I'm not going to pull him up because I think he wants to be private because he has his account set to private and he doesn't even have his account having a name. He showed me something last night. Normally I don't look at other things, but this is something I'd never thought of or considered before. That if you look at, one of the dynamic shifts that we have in the market compared to all of this time period. So like if we go right here, if you go to like December and November of 2019, all right, just go right here. The USDT dominance in the market, where this was like the only stable coin we had that had really any dominance in the market, was about 2%, right? Now it's at about 8%. It's a large amount of the market share that USDT has. So that's a different like dynamic we have in all these calculations when we're calculating Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, altcoin dominance, others dominance, all these different things. And he was like, hey, take a look at this. Bitcoin dominance plus Ethereum dominance plus USDT dominance plus USDC dominance, right? Because USDT and USDC, let's get him out here. Right? Number 3 and number 5 right here, right? I lost my page. Where was I? Here we are. And if we look at what all of those are combined with Bitcoin, USDT, and USDC, you can see it's already retraced all the way, or at least like well into retracement levels in here. So that was an interesting dynamic shift. It hit that when the liquidation happened, that's how high this had gotten. Now, how to interpret that, because that's a changing dynamic shift in the market, hard to know, but knowing that when we had these past Bitcoin dominance readings and all this stuff, there was practically a non-existent stablecoin market, right? $5 billion of the whole market. Now you can see just Tether and USDC together is $100 billion. And that when you look at, add Ethereum, add Bitcoin, add Tether, they've already swallowed back all the way back to retracement levels on those dominance readings. And would that explain away the totally different behavior of Bitcoin dominance down in here at these lows? Because if we look at this, here is the peak of the market in 2017, 2018. And Bitcoin's bear, it goes all like this the whole way, right? That is just not the behavior of what has happened here in this bear at all. is that we have not seen some big, massive reclaim. And so, you see everybody fighting over Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance. We spend 2 years in a range. Is it those stable coins causing that major impact? And it may be. So, people are scared of altcoins. Where do they flock? They flock to Bitcoin, kind of, but also to stable coins, right? Because there's a stable coin market now. Whereas back then, if you were going to flock and run away, it wasn't like people really felt super comfortable flocking. The Tether stuff has been going on since forever, like the Tether FUD. And there just wasn't as much demand to go run and flock into Tether. So if you had your choice, people would either, stay in your altcoins, or you flock into Bitcoin, right? There was no huge stablecoin market where people would go flock into. Now there's that alternative, right? If you're scared of the altcoins, you want to get out, you don't just go sit in Bitcoin because it's not going to do as bad as the altcoins. You can go sit in stablecoins too. And I think that might play a role. I'm not sure, but I thought that was interesting. He sent that to me last night. I'm not going to bring him up because his profile is private, and he doesn't even have a name for his profile. So I'm just going to say, hey, man, giving you credit, but you just DM me and let me know if you want me to say your name. Tay Brown. What are your price targets for XRP? Is there a scenario where you would add to your bag without it setting a new low? My dude, Tay Brown. Do you watch the channel, my dude? Yeah, man. Right? XRP, nothing has changed. Still Fibonacci extensions catching up to Ethereum market cap, all that stuff. And based off of the market cap. So around the $10 area. Is there a scenario where you would add to your bag without it setting a new low? You mean from right here? Like if it doesn't go down below here? Unless if I have something where I lose control of my emotions and I FOMO or something, I don't see any reason why I would. As long as I can keep those emotions in under control, right? And that's the thing for everybody. That's the hardest part of this market is your emotions will get in the way and cloud proper decision making. As of right now, no, I don't think so. Again, I've been accumulating for 5 years, right? I mean, I've gotten 13-cent XRP. I've gotten tons of, in the 20s, right? Lower 20s, 30s, right? I've gotten all that stuff. As we're up here, now the bag's like up 100%. So it's like, also having been in this asset for so long, the way I can tame my emotions a little bit is knowing that these are always the things that happen. We move up fast and then we move down for a while. And the moves up always happen really quickly. So like in a lot of assets, when we see prices break out really fast, it's like a valid breakout and they keep going. But we have to remember that like every real move up in XRP is typically a fast move up. Even if it's only a move to the next range where we're going to trade in a range for 6 months or something like that, getting into that range, we can do it in like 3 days and then everything tames out for 6 months. And so if you remember when we were moving up here towards these retracement levels, how much skepticism I've shown getting back to these, because this is not the typical price behavior of XRP that is in a breakout move, right? I've talked about, we're just doing this kind of creeping stuff, getting back to these retracement levels. If we could get a break through the retracement levels, then there's something to talk about. But there's just something very unusual about if this is breaking out and going much higher, why are we moving at such a slow pace to get there? That's not usually what we do. We're usually going very quickly in price action on big moves up, and that this is not exhibiting that type of behavior. It's exhibiting ranging behavior for XRP. But, I'm willing to buy without new lows below here. I'm willing to be a buyer in here. And I'm willing to now move my range back to here, right? Whereas my range originally was here, right? Here. So my range has been now shifted up. And that would be under the conditions of zigzag, right? So it's in the conditions of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? In that, what do we get? In a zigzag, ABC correction, waves of near equal length, right? So that would close this gap right here, right? Close the breakout down to that level in the 38s, right? So my zone was all the way down to 31. Now it's no longer as low as 31. Now my lower bound is now near 37, 38. If we end up doing that. Again, all bets off on any of that. Should we get through these retracement levels? And we do know this in these next couple of days, there are catalysts. So if some catalyst gets us through these retracement levels, I'm willing to scratch that all day. But it's at the same time, I'm not gonna be FOMOing anything in here because I've been accumulating for such low prices. So again, XRP is my largest bag. It's more than double my number 2 bag. My order of my top 3 is number 1 is XRP, number 2 is Bitcoin, number 3 is Ethereum. So, and by the way, if Bitcoin, I've always talked about this. The reason why I hold Bitcoin is not because I think it's going to go to moon. I don't think it's going to, but it's an insurance policy of this. So if this continues to shift, if Bitcoin gets higher, if Bitcoin gets to these areas in here, 38 to 55, I will progressively dump my Bitcoin into altcoins all throughout this region. I will not even ride it to all-time high. And I am feeling pretty confident that I will probably dump 100% of my Bitcoin. I've never said that before, right? We got up here, did 65%. Down here, I refilled my bags of Bitcoin. I almost got them back to the level where they were in here. But I would be willing to dump 100. I'm thinking I'd probably dump 100% of it into the altcoin market if Bitcoin does get up there. It's currently my number 2 holding, but it's not in any way a holding for me to go to high prices. It is merely an insurance policy against something like this. But it's not, I'm not even a holder into all-time highs. Unlikely. There we go. Lord says the 2016 XEM, which I think that's a new economy movement, and XVG, which is Verge, right? So there's evidence I was there during that time, right? I know those two. Still sit on last demand as well. Jeez, really? They really are. Feels like, gosh, Verge, I haven't looked at Verge in a long time. The last time I saw it, it was like so low. So low. Susie Kusia. What's up, Susie? I hope that you are doing well. You didn't leave a message, but you gave a really nice super sticker and you're generous. Thank you. I hope that you are doing well over there in Florida. Thank you very much, Susie. Oscar Hernandez says, when Gary and Sam hit the likes, and then thumbs up, fist bump, hooks, pirate flags, and frogs. See, if you're like a blockchain backer, channel watcher, and if you're in the XP army, you understood all that. Thank you, Oscar. William Kosman says, hey, BCB, been around since August of 2020, and this is my first super chat. Can you tell if EOS is a failed project or not based on its first? Thanks, man. Based on its first. I don't know what based on its first means. But it's abandoned, man. It is totally abandoned. I mean, I think there's some other group that has like picked it up and is trying to promote it. When I was at Consensus in 2023, what is it, like the EOS Foundation something? I tried to find them, man. I could never find them when I was there. Apparently they were there. You know, there's a group of people trying to revive EOS after it was abandoned. You could see people are whining and complaining about it with all the SEC stuff because EOS, again, was one of those ones. unlikely to be labeled a security because they were labeled a security a long time ago and they settled with the SEC. So they took care of all of their SEC problems a long time ago, but then got abandoned in the midst of the 2021 bull run. But yeah, based on what's happening with them in regards to, like, let's do this. Let me show you guys something. Hold on one second. Here's 2019. EOS is like your second highest number of developers in the entire ecosystem of crypto. I don't think a lot of people know that. 224 developers. So, for example, XRP has like 50 or 60. EOS has 224 developers with 5 million average daily transaction counts. Look at Ethereum. Look at Tron. Look at Bitcoin. EOS was like your Ethereum killer. It was coming for it. And this is deep into 2019, right? So the top of Bitcoin came in December of 2017. So here you are 18 months later. And you have EOS being what is perceived to be the Bitcoin killer. And this is still in 2019. And then totally abandoned. Crazy. So just obviously price is reflecting it, right? William Crossman, but so is developers, right? Just abandoned it. Grumpy Old Men says, hey, BCB, could we get a role reversal of ADA and XRP? Oh, man, this is funny. Yeah, so I literally had this conversation in a text message the other day. All right, Grumpy Old Men. And so this is, again, for the people who are here in 2020. He says, hey, BCB, could we get a role reversal of ADA and XRP? ADA went on a run in the bull run, but XRP only got retracement. XRP was attacked by the SEC in bull run. This time, ADA gets attacked. Just saying, it's really strange. Yeah, so, and for those who were here during that time, so I got, whether you call it luck or whatnot, but my number one altcoin bag was XRP at the time. Still is to this day. Not the best luck. My number two altcoin in my bag was Cardano, ADA. And so what happened when all of that happened to XRP was it was like this massive flock straight over to Cardano. And Cardano skyrocketed. Let's see if we can compare those charts really quick. Here's XRP. Hopefully this will show up okay. I've never tried it before with these two. So we'll use Binance. So which scale are we going to use here? All right, so here you go. This is the SEC sell-off, right? So SEC sell-off happens down to here, and XRP drops. Just in that move alone, loses 62%. The recipient of all of this ended up being Cardano. And that Cardano immediately went on a 500% run. And then much higher. Cardano ended up going up 10,000%. So it was like when this happened, there was this shift that happened. Again, this is alt season, right? Most of the altcoin market's moving up at this point. But there was this moment in time where this is where a lot of the XRP investors went to, is they went to Cardano. That's where they just flocked to. So your question is kind of, can the reversal of that happen, right? And I don't know, but it would for sure be nice for it to be our time, wouldn't it? And I don't wish that harm on Cardano people, because I own Cardano too. I own ADA. Get my language right. I own ADA as well. That's like me calling That's like me calling it Ripple. I own ADA, but it would be sure a funny world of events for it to play out like that. Either way. And then, of course, XRP getting clarity or something like that at the same time, while Cardano or ADA gets knocked on its rear end. Again, I'm not cheering for that, man. I don't cheer for that for anybody. I don't cheer for negative things for Ethereum people. I don't cheer for negative things for Bitcoin people. I don't cheer for anybody, man. I want the whole system to thrive. I want us all to rock on. And I do know not everybody can be a winner in this market. It's just impossible. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. That is just the way markets are designed. But I don't want it to be in a manner where the losers are due to something negative happening to them because of a corrupt government agency at all. Let the market choose. Don't let the corrupt politicians be the ones to choose who are getting paid underneath the table. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. Bradley Crawford, member. Thank you. Welcome, Bradley. Thank you. Sebastian Barrow says, guys, like the video. You don't want to make BCB sad. It's true. It makes me question if I'm ever going to do these again if I don't hit 1,000 by the time the live stream is done. We're at 886. Dude, look at this one. Exceed. He just says, what up, BCB? You are the man. Thank you. Dude, that's what's up. I'll take that all day. So we got a pretty bigger than usual audience today. So this stream's going to get wrapped up pretty soon. We're at 52 minutes, but let me explain what's going on here. I've got a video coming out here within the next hour, hopefully within an hour. It's mostly recorded. It's mostly edited. Over 20 minutes of it are edited. Now I just got to finish the editing and record the outro and release it to the world. You're going to get a lot of me this week. And, we'll have markets in the morning again. We'll have more videos. And then also any type of craziness that could pop up in the markets to give some type of update on something epically good or epically catastrophic that ends up happening. At the same time, like we've been doing for the last several meetings on Wednesday, when Jerome Powell comes out and speaks, we'll also live stream that as we have. Is this going to be the time where we catch craziness, right? There's an expectation of a pause, so we'll live stream that on Wednesday. I haven't checked to see what time that is. I think that's usually around 1 p.m. Eastern, maybe 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll figure that out. I will get you the correct information tomorrow or the next day before that is to lock in a live stream time for that. And then likely, keep your eyes on Twitter Spaces, live streams, everything, because if those emails get released tomorrow, dude, there's going to be wildness. Right. So just be prepared. This is a busy week. This is going to be a chaotic week. And I'd probably expect volatility, right? Usually when we head into these types of weeks, I start making, and I'll do it today just to prove it, thumbnails for my videos. And usually that word volatile is going to be in the thumbnail and the title of my videos when we head into these CPI and into these Fed weeks. So we're not only coming off of volatility of taking place in the cryptocurrency market, but we're going to be heading into more of it from a macro perspective as well. So get ready. You're probably going to get a lot of me this week in various forms, maybe interviews on other channels, maybe Twitter Spaces. We're going to do multiple live streams, not just the markets in the morning, but we're going to live stream the Fed, and then we'll have the videos to go along with all of it too. So I hope you can handle it. So, all right, we're at 988. Sounds pretty good. Freedom One says, what time will that be, BCB, for the emails released? There is no time, and we don't even really know if they are coming out tomorrow. Everybody knows there's a deadline set for tomorrow, but what people don't know is what time that is, what will be released, and if the SEC is going to have some trick up their sleeve to delay it. Hey, you hit 1,000, rock on. So they don't know if there's going to be a delay. There's definitely no time set. I don't even know what time there is a deadline. If there even, is it 11:59 p.m.? I don't know. So we'll see. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Keep an eye out for a video coming out pretty soon. It's over 20 minutes long. We start talking about all kinds of stuff, altcoin market dominance, just everything in the market. But it's got me optimistic, and I'm in accumulation mode right now. So, all right, I'm wrapping it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and we'll ride through this wildness together. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.